What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to talk about everything that you need to do to hire a sales and marketing rep. How much do you pay them? When do you pay them? How do you handle the phones, the cars, the allowances? How do you go about training them? How do you hold them accountable? We're going to cover all of it today. Let's go. All right, guys, so I just want to tell you this. There's going to be a lot of detail in this video. If you stick around to the end of the video, like I said, we're going to cover everything from how to pay them, what to pay them. I'm going to give you some example commission structures. We're going to run through all of it. You do not want to miss this video. All right, so let's just jump right on in. I'm going to share my screen because I've made some notes here. So let's talk about one thing, which is what are some of the biggest failures that I see, okay? One of the biggest failures that I see is that the owner is not completely 100% involved with the sales and marketing. Now, I want you to know this. I'm not saying that you can't be a business owner. When you started your restoration company, you didn't hire a bunch of technicians and then not have any damn idea how to dry a house out yourself, did you? Like, I don't think you did. Like, you need to know how to do this, guys. At the foundation level, you as the owner have to know how to do the thing. And most owners have a good idea of how to get a house dry, how to talk to an adjuster, but they have zero clue on how to do the sales and marketing. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to hand off something that they don't know how to do themselves. And that will not work. Are we clear? It won't work. And I got good news for you. It's not that hard. You don't have to be great at sales and marketing, but you have to know what it looks like, okay? We'll talk about that in a minute. But the biggest thing I can say is this. If the sales and marketing is not important enough to you to learn how to master it, it sure as hell will not be important enough for you to go hire somebody and let them learn how to do it. I'm gonna say that again. If it's not important enough for you to figure out how to master it, it won't be important enough for you to ever be successful because you're not gonna police them adequately because it's not important enough to you. You're not going to know how to correct their mistakes because you don't know how. You have to know what you're doing, and that's how you correct them. That's how you train them. How do you know if they're screwing around or not? How do you know what they're doing wrong, okay? You don't have to make the tackles in football, but you need to know what missing a tackle looks like. You need to be able to show them the fundamentals when you're coaching your team, okay? So again, the biggest problem, the owner's not 100% involved, okay? The second thing is the commission structure is not aligned. And man, this one, I'm telling you, I can't fix this. Like, if I've had clients come to me and their commission structure is broken. If that commission structure is misaligned, you will never get that dog to perform. You will never get the dog to do the tricks that you need them to do because you've got the entire compensation structure out of whack, guys. And once you put the structure in place, it is really hard to go back and change it. It's really hard to go back and change it. So it's super important that, like, you get this right out of the gate. Imagine entering into a marriage and hypothetically, for whatever reason, you enter the marriage, maybe you make them sign a prenup and like you've got, it may not say you don't get anything, but like you guys have a set arrangement of how this is going to go if it doesn't work, okay? And she signs off on it. Now imagine after you get married, after you hire the person, okay, you come back 6 months later, a year later, hey, I know we had a deal. I'd like to change the deal. And it doesn't matter if your spouse would accept the prenup conditions 2.0, but it's going to sour the taste in their mouth. It's going to sour the taste in their mouth. And so hopefully that paints an adequate picture. It's really hard, even if they have a great attitude, it is really hard to get them to go back and renegotiate their salary without having some level of contempt for you. And it's your fault, okay, because you put a bad structure in place. So here's what I'm telling you. Don't put a bad structure in place. In the video, I'm going to tell you what the commission structure should be, and we'll go through all of that, okay? And the next one is no plan and no direction. So this is really important. So I want to share this with you, okay? When you get into marketing, these are 4 different verticals. So one way to grow your company is to chase fires, okay? And another way is to chase commercial water. A lot of the big dogs do this, okay? If I go talk to some of my clients that did do fires, okay, here's how they would do it. They would hire a fire chaser to go chase that job and sign it, okay? And that's not always necessarily a marketing rep, but like that's kind of what they are. It's what they do. They chase a specific instance. They chase the fire and they go out there and then look, they're being compassionate, but they're having to sign that job right then. They are going to serve as the liaison in between the customer, the client, from soup to nuts, start to finish, because like they are responsible for getting that family to sign. And whether they're getting the lead from a scanner, whether they're getting the lead from the fire department, whether they're getting the lead from Google, the fire chaser goes because like just getting the lead is not enough. You got to put that baby to bed. That's what the fire chaser does. That same thing happens in commercial water. And so the reason why I'm saying this to you is like, if you want to be successful at fire, you can't just run a marketing campaign. You're going to need somebody to chase the fires, okay? And that guy that chases fires is going to be a lot different than the person that chases plumbers for residential water. It's going to be a lot different. What their day looks like, what they need to do throughout the day. Like, I'm just telling you, it looks different. And when you hire one person to do all these, that's where it really goes wrong, because these are different personality types, they're different demographics, the whole 9 yards, okay? So just know this. Each one of these are own verticals. Chasing fires is completely different than chasing water. When you get into the commercial world, the franchises do a much better job of chasing commercial water. I just think franchises do a better job with commercial, personally, because they have more resources, I guess, and they just spend more time focusing on that. So here's what I'll say. If you're gonna do a commercial water chaser, okay, it's very common that once someone arrives at a 20-story or a 10-story building, they're more than likely there's not going to be just one company there. Like in Nashville, for instance, we would go out to go do a commercial water job. Like you would see the local Serv Pro guy there. You would see the local Service Master guy there. Why? Because like that's what they did. That's what I did. And like it's our job to sit there and bond with the prospect, right, the building owner, to try and get them to sign with. I'm just telling you, if this is not what you were thinking, that's because it's very different, dude. It's very, very different. Fire and commercial water are completely different. Completely different, okay? Completely different. Completely different. So I'm just telling you, these are different verticals. Now, the next thing is plumbers. We're gonna talk plumbers. Like, plumbers are really my jam. Like, if you said, Shane, could you help me grow my company with chasing fires and commercial water? I'd be like, no. And there's various reasons why, but like that's just not my jam. Does that make sense? I like plumbers. Insurance agents we can help you with too, but if you fast forward to 10 years from now, like there won't be insurance agents, okay? All that stuff's gonna be bought online. There's algorithms that like it's just gonna be different. There will be plumbers and there will be pipes. Plumbers will be around longer. I just like plumbers better, okay? But so let's go back to the plumber thing. Like plumbers is its own vertical the same way, okay? Plumber breakfast, how you go about finding the plumbers, making sure you got the right plumbers. Do you put a referral fee in place? Yes or no? We'll cover that in another video. If you want to know more on that and you haven't seen that video, drop a comment and I'll tag you or link you to that video. So plumbers is its own vertical. Insurance agents. This is kind of one, like, I don't know how or why this one really still exists or floats around, but like, I think it's just because restoration companies know where the insurance agent's office is. And so it's kind of like sight fishing. They just go send a marketing rep to walk in there and interrupt their day and hope that that somehow generates business. And I guess in some weird sense, in some cases it will or it might, but it's not a good productive use of time, partly because like if you're doing what everybody else does, your prospects are going to be getting just freaking, it's like taking your woman to a freaking dance party and just dudes grinding all up on her, dude. Like, get her out of that environment. Don't meet your woman at that dance party. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, no, it's a freaking sausage fest. Get out of there. So really, what you want to do is you want to find, like, it goes back to like, what is your plan? And I'm just telling you first, these all four are different. And the biggest failure is if you try to hire one, you don't know which one of these four you're going to do. You need to niche down, okay? So that's another big failure. So another one, what do you need to do to be successful with a marketing rep? This one isn't that hard. I've already told you, you got to know how to do it yourself. You need to know how to do it yourself, okay? I'm going to give you another analogy. This is a lot like flying a plane, okay? If you're flying a plane, guys, there's something called autopilot, okay? Autopilot is kind of like having your team do it for you. Well, guess what? Autopilot really only exists in one aspect of flying. It ain't on the takeoff and it ain't on the landing. It's at cruising altitude. And what I'm telling you is this: you as the owner need to know how to take the plane off, and you need to know how to launch the rocket and land the rocket. Because if you can launch and land, you can fly in between, you understand? But if something goes wrong, you need to get that baby on the ground, you need to jump in and fix it, right? And what if Billy, your marketing rep, comes in and does well and then leaves? Like, this is what happens. This is what happens. If that marketing rep is super good for you and they have a falling out with you, they might leave. They might, because they don't need you, okay? So it's just really your job to know how to launch those things. So here's what I'll say. The easiest part is maintaining the relationship, and that's what you should have them do. Know how to do the takeoff, know how to do the landing, and you can have them build more relationships. You certainly can. but you need to have some relationships in place, because again, it's going to be easier for them to learn how to fly at cruising altitude. You don't want them to start with the takeoff or start with the landing. Let them do the easiest things first, and that is going to be the repetition things of maintenance on the accounts, okay? Know how to do it yourself, number one. Are we clear? And the reason why it's easier to maintain than it is to build. It's easier to maintain than it is to build. Secondly, have a plan. We just went through those verticals. Decide what you want to do. And if you don't know what you want to do, I'm going to tell you what. Residential water is way easier. There's way more, there's more houses than commercial buildings, okay? And little kids like to stick things down. I got a 4-year-old son that throws dinosaurs in the commode, okay? That's going to be a better avenue for you, all right? So if you don't know, do water residential, okay? So know what you want to do, have a strategy, and that's going to go back to knowing what you want, and have some training. Know how to train the people. There are guys that teach the commercial water thing. Dick Wagner was a guy that did it for a long time on the commercial stuff. It is what it is, right? But there are people out there that you can seek out, and if y'all want another video, I can do something on that. But it just wasn't our bag. I can tell you this: if you wanted to do commercial water and you start using some of the internet strategies that we tell you guys to use, you will land commercial jobs from the internet. You will land commercial jobs from the internet, 100%. There are other ways to land commercial jobs by building relationships, but I'm just telling you, you will get some commercial, and it will come from the internet, and it will come after hours, okay? Get the proper training. Decide what you want, and then get training. So if you guys are thinking about plumbers, like, you should go to workwithshane.com and talk to us about our program. We've got a very simple 30-day test drive where you get to try everything that we teach. It's got a money-back guarantee. We give you a bunch of goodies for trying it, and people love it, okay? It's wildly successful. So go there and just see if you like what we teach, and we can help you land those plumbers if you want plumbers. And then really have a compensation plan that works. We'll go over the compensation plan in just a second, but I just want you to know this. You need to know how to do it yourself, you need to have a plan, and you need to have a comp structure that works. That is how you are successful, okay? So let's jump back into, how about we do an example structure? You guys wanted to talk about this one. So we call this higher of the two. And actually this higher of the two scenario works not only for marketing, it works for your project managers too. So the first thing, we're going to talk about draw versus commission. What is going to be the percentage, and then how do you do the payouts? The plan is going to be this. It's going to be a draw versus commission, but the higher of the two means we're going to pay them whichever is more. And this works really well with the lead technicians, and you'll probably understand it in a minute, okay? So basically, here's what we're going to do. If your marketing rep can bring in $1 million, they need to make 100 grand. Bring in $1 million, they need to get 100 grand. I'm telling you, a really good marketing rep could bring you double that. But they probably won't, because once they make enough money, they're good. But I'm just telling you, if they can bring you $1 million of water mitigation, and you don't pay them 100 grand, you're going to lose them to somebody else that will. That's what's going to happen, okay? So 10% is a good, easy number, and I would just encourage you to do that. 10% of the gross, okay, less the referral fees. And this, less the referral fees does this. This allows your marketing rep to pay various referral fee amounts to plumbers if that's what they want or need to do. So let's say you're going to pay a plumber $1,000. It's a $6,000 water job. The commission is going to be based not on the 6, but it's going to be based on the 5, because the 5 comes off the top. All right, pretty simple. Payout 30 days after earning. So let's hypothetically, so you got a marketing rep and they earn in January. They go sell a bunch in January. In February, you're going to collect that money and you're going to pay them out the difference on March 1st. So January is the month you do the earning, February you do the collecting, and then so 30 days after the month ends, you're going to pay them out March 1. Does that make sense? Earn in January, collect in February, pay out March 1. That's how we're going to do it, all right? So let's look at this in practice. Let's look at an example month, okay? So let's say that in January they sold $55,000 of water mitigation services. 10% of the $55,000 is $5,500. So the formula here is going to be earning minus the draw equals the difference. So $5,500 is what they sold, that's what they earned, minus the draw $1,500 commission. You're going to pay out that difference of $1,500 on March 1st. Now, what does the higher of the two mean? Let's say they only sold $38,000. Then they're still going to get their 4. Does that make sense? And so basically what you're going to do is, like, January 1st, they're getting a $4,000 draw. February 1st, they're getting a $4,000 draw. March 1st, they're getting a $4,000 draw. So what I'm trying to tell you right here is if they don't hit their number, you're still going to pay them at least that. That's the higher of the two. Make sense? You can do this exact same thing with your technicians, okay? So if your truck's making $800,000, right? Water mitigation, lead tech, 10%, 80 grand. Bada boom, bada bing. Okay? Lead tech, 80 grand. So does that make sense? And you can do this payout structure. It's got to be very simple. Most people try to make this too complicated. Do not do that. And there's a lot of other things that I would tell you about paying out the bonuses, but like, don't pay them based on recon. 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 Don't. If you got a question why, I can answer. Just don't. Recon jobs are not consistent. You may not be profitable. You may not get it. They will sign jobs that are big dollar amounts but low profit margin. If you're trying to do recon, you pay all that profit percentage based on that. Goes straight to your project manager for your recon. That's how that handles. Not selling it, okay? Not selling it. Because a lot of times they'll sign a mitigation job because it's a big recon and they don't give a damn about the MIT. They want to get that recon money. Do not do it. So we looked at the example month. So on the phone and car, you want to pay them a monthly stipend. So just say this, if they've got a phone, it's just going to be a phone and car allowance. It could be $500 a month, whatever it is. Just keep it simple. Keep it simple. When it comes to tracking, CRM, stuff like that, I can show you guys what we use. And again, just you go to workwithshane.com, we can hop on a call and show you what it is. But the stuff that we use allows them to text, and it maintains all the activities. So you get to see the calls, hear the calls, everything, the whole 9 yards. And it's an app, so you don't need to give them a dedicated phone. It's just an app. All right, and you can track that stuff. All right, just keep it simple. Pay them $400 or $500 for that. Now, let's talk about some extra options here. Answering the phone after hours and signing jobs after hours. Ooh, this sounds interesting. So let's look at an example of this. Guys, when you're bringing them in, this is where I'm talking about, like, know that you could structure this relationship different in the beginning. This is that moment. So if you don't want to answer the phone full time, dude, here's what you can do. Pay a marketing rep, give an extra $500 or $600, $300, whatever that number is. Don't be chintzy with it though. Don't be chintzy with it, okay? If you're not paying them enough, then pay them more, right? So if you're trying to get off the phones, get off the phones. But whatever you're trying to do, you're going to have a process in place to get off the phone. So all calls need to be recorded, and you need to be able to have some missed call text back. And that's what we did at our company. And again, we just got an app that we give to our clients, and we built it ourselves. And so again, that just workwithshane.com to find that out. But just know this, you can have them answer the phone after hours and pay them something in addition to their thing. And if it ain't worth $500 a month to you, dude, then you answer the phone, dog. You do it, okay? Just don't worry about it. You should make plenty of money in your business, and you can get out of every aspect of your business. I know you can because I did, okay? You can, but you're going to pay somebody for everything you do, as you should, okay? As you should. And if you're not making enough money, you got to learn how to make more money, and that goes back to learning how to do the estimates and invoices and all that. We can help you with that too, okay? Pay them an amount to answer the phones. Here's a good one too. Offer them to go sign the job. Like, if I didn't know, but like if you're the owner and you're not signing the job as you're starting out, you can't go send Billy, your technician, to sign the job, dude, right? Like, Billy's not going to be very good at signing these jobs. It's hard to get leads. You got to convert these things. You got to go put that thing to bed, all right? And if you don't know how to do that, go to Work with Shane. We can talk, okay? But like, when you get a good lead, you need to know how to put that baby to bed. You cannot be sending your technician out there. You're not mentioning insurance over the phone. None of that. Because if you mention insurance, they're going to go call their agent. They're going to stop you, and the agent's going to send a green truck out there, okay? They're not thinking insurance whenever they call you, okay? They're thinking $200 and a shot back. And Billy, your technician, is not going to be good enough to explain that to them. You need to do it, okay? And after you get done doing it, I'm trying to get you out of that position. As you grow your company, you might already have a project manager, or you might not. Once you get to $700,000 of MIT or $1 million of MIT, there's a lot of different options you can do about growing your company, okay? That's the reason why I would say do the sales rep kind of towards the end, because if I were you, I would probably put a project manager in place before I went and hired a marketing rep, okay? That's just me, because you're gonna have a lot of operational time, but it's gonna be up to you. We can kick that around on a different conversation, but here's what I'm telling you. You need to be able to pay that person a commission to sign that job. Because if the job came from a plumber and you're getting this marketing rep to call plumbers, he's already gonna go sign that job, okay? Because if he doesn't get that job signed, he's not gonna get any commission, okay? So you wouldn't pay him this 10% on the jobs that he signs, because he already has a vested interest to go get that job signed. I'm gonna say that again differently. Let's say your marketing rep is Tommy. Atme Plumbing calls Tommy and says, hey, I got a job for you. You're not gonna pay your marketing rep 20% just for the hell of it. You're already giving them 10. What I'm talking about is a scenario or a situation where you get a call from Google, or you get a call from an insurance agent, but you get a call that comes into your company that is not derived from that marketing rep. I would offer that marketing rep another 10% or a 10% because they're not getting anything to go sign that job, because technically that person's probably going to be better at sales than your technician, okay? And if that job came to you through Google Maps or 33-mile radius or whatever, goods or whatever it might be, you're going to want to get that job signed. And if you're not doing it yourself, this person's probably going to be the next best person at sales in your company, okay? So pay them a percentage to go sign. So hopefully that's helpful. Let's recap. I think that covers everything. That's the biggest failures. So our big key takeaway, know how to do it yourself. If you don't know how to do it yourself, spend some time and learn that, dude, okay? And if you've got other questions, drop a comment below. I read all of these things, okay? Hey guys, if you enjoyed that video, I've got 3 things for you. Number 1, if you haven't yet, click on my face below and be sure to subscribe to the channel. Okay, we put out new content each and every week. Also, if you want me to help you grow your company, go to workwithshane.com. Workwithshane.com, put in your information, we can get on a call and see how we can help you grow your company. Lastly, there'll be some other videos right here. If you want to watch more content about growing your restoration company, check out one of these videos. We'll see you guys on the next one.